Hello, Nick. How was your week?
My week was good. I'll just share with you, and you know this, Flame, but I'll share with Lauren and the Flamettes and the Vouchettes and everybody out there listening. I went on ahead and booked arrangements to go see my mom, and I'm super excited about that. I have not seen my mom in about, Flame, we were talking about this, almost 2 years directly. We see each other. We talk all the time. We do the FaceTime and all of that. COVID stopped us, but the last time I was physically in my mother's presence was when I had my mom and everybody, the rest of my family, come to D.C. So we were all in D.C. and we did the museum and all that stuff together. But that was April 2019. Yep. So,
but your mom got an iPhone. So y'all iPhone? No, that's me. Y'all iPhone talk every day, right? Y'all, what they call that when you got an iPhone?
Flame, absolutely. We FaceTime.
FaceTime.
We FaceTime, and my mother likes your Duo Hangout. So we do that all the time. But my mother, doesn't want to be caught, Lauren. It's like, don't FaceTime me with other people around and let me know so I can put on some hair, and everything before you get me on there. So that's
you can't be calling no black woman that's you, nigga. You can't be calling no black woman out of the blue and she ain't got her damn hair on. You know how we do.
You should know better too. We did all these Zoom calls and everything else. You got to prepare people.
Speaking of that, did you see the video of the lady the other day? She was in bed. She had a wig on, and the Zoom meeting was over. She snatched her wig off and went back up under the cover. Did y'all see? That's very me. Oh my God, that's very me.
That's me too. I'll just keep the camera off. This morning I had an 8 a.m. call with the folks in my organization that I know. So they had scarf, glasses, and everything else. So this is what y'all getting. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. So, period.
Well, Nick, let's open up the floodlines and let's get it started with what we're talking about. Cause
I just want to remind everyone that if they want to chime in, to make sure that they use the flames in the comments and that they type in capital letters. At the end of the day, you guys, we want to make sure that you all know that we really do value your feedback, your comments, and your response at the end of the show helps other people to find the show. So at the end of Laugh and Learn, if you like what you hear, go ahead and comment for us, and make sure if you want to sound off, you use the flames in the comments.
I see y'all comments saying y'all only see half of me. I have to sit a certain way because yesterday when we were at the photo shoot, I was bent over in my bag, getting out my articles to change clothes, but I didn't kneel down. I just bent over. Baby, when I stood up, Lauren had to crack my back. My back was killing me. It's still bothering me. My back is killing me. Yeah. But I took an 800 ibuprofen.
Flame didn't use her knees properly.
After the age of 30, we have to squat. We're supposed to use our knees.
Who's 30?
Well, once you reach 30, you need to use your knees.
I'm a 29 and a half. I'm almost there, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that did it.
Nick, let's talk about this week. What we start? Let me start with parenting and respect on both ends of the spectrum of being a parent and a child. Respect is not only given or given, you have to give respect. I mean, you know what I mean. Y'all know what the hell I mean. You have to, in order to receive it, you have to give it. When I say that, I'm talking about the video that happened between Kirk Franklin and his son, Kerryon. Let me explain something to you. Do I think that Kirk Franklin was wrong for cussing out his kid? I do not. I have cussed out my children. Do I think that he was wrong for calling his kid some of the names that he chose to call his kid? You goddamn right. You don't call your son, black man in this America, in this country, a bitch ass nigga publicly where he didn't know he's being taped. Or if that's how and then you see how it didn't even break the son down. Then he told the son, I break your motherfucking skull and don't you ever disrespect me, your broke ass. This is your child. This is your kid. Whatever he is, he belongs to you. Whatever he becomes, he still belongs to you. If I went in that room and talked to my son the way he talked to his kid, my son will have a meltdown because my son is not accustomed to me. He's speaking to him in that manner. So this is how you know that this boy was used to that, because the boy didn't break down. The boy stood his ground and kept on, come on, I dare you, I dare you. That's because he was used to being spoken to by Kirk Franklin. Y'all say what y'all want to about all these Christian and gospels and saved. They still regular people. The point was that nobody probably believed this boy, and he ended up recording his daddy. And that's what the problem is, because he probably have told people that he was talking to him crazy, but then he was smart enough to record it. Let me tell you something, Kirk Franklin, with that weak ass apology. Because that what you apologizing to us for? Because if you'd have called me a bitch ass nigga, I'd have called you one back. That's what they say about you behind closed doors anyway with them tight ass suits on, real talk. Okay, Lauren, I said my piece. As a daddy, I would never call my son bitch ass. I do call him nigga. Nigga, if you don't get in here and take this garbage out, if you don't come clean up my bathroom, but I would never disrespect my son and then expect him to respect me as his father, period. Because the sword goes both ways. I'm sorry, Lauren. I'm just chatty. Come on. I'm acting like Nicholas today.
Oh. We starting early today. I have mixed feelings about it because, you know, he still is a parent, and my upbringing, my household, like it's very honest, you know what I mean? So, and I have an older brother, we're 8 years apart. My dad is very strict with him. You know, I've heard my dad say some very stern things to my brother. So I'm kind of in the middle because the other part of me too is I don't really like the fact that Kirk Franklin's son recorded this conversation and aired it for public view. Now, I don't know, maybe he feels like he's been verbally abused all of his life and he wants to finally, you know, show the public who his father is. But I just feel like family business needs to stay family business, and you didn't need to air your dad's dirty laundry like that. If y'all had a real issue and you just felt like you couldn't move past it, then sometimes, you know, just because you family doesn't mean that y'all have to be together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have family members that I don't speak to, and it is what it is. So if you felt that serious in your spirit that you just didn't think this relationship with your father was going to work, then just separate ties. Like, just let it go. Everything's not meant to be.
Yeah.
But to take it and air it, I don't really have any respect for that. I don't think he should have done that.
Lauren, just to kind of piggyback off of what you said, I think I'm more aligned with what you just said there. I think that anytime a family situation is, it should stay in the family. That's just my idea, particularly discrepancies like that. Those things should be handled internally. I do think, too, I might have felt differently if the son were a child. But because this was an adult male, I think I'm giving a little bit more latitude to the language and the exchange, because I look at it as man to man more so than man to boy or man to child. Even though that is his son, it is clear this is not the first time they've engaged that way. So I think that it was uncomfortable for me to hear because it became public. Let me just say that. But now that it's public, I felt like, wow, I think that I need to step back simply because this is a family that clearly engages this way with one another.
In the times that we live in with the cancel culture and with reality TV, ain't shit off limits no more. And nothing is off limits. That's unfortunate too. Nothing is off limits because we have reality TV that we adore. We run to watch the foolishness and the buffoonery. And as much as some of it is scripted and staged, so much of it is true. Look at that video. Rewatch that. Listen to that video again. That man talked to his son like he did not even know this man. This is what I heard as a father. I'm not speaking as somebody else standing on the outside. How I always have said that I never want to lose the respect of my son because I'm going to treat him a certain way. And I'm transgendered. I'm sitting here with titties, wet dresses, and wigs and shit. And he knows exactly who I am. But losing his respect would have started in his youth. When he was very young. He's now 18. I'm not going to do that.
But that's my thing too, though. And I mean, I guess people can say it's attributed to the upbringing.
I think he's 33.
He is 33. But what I'm saying is that it started young.
Yeah.
Kirk been talking to that boy like that for years. My only question is, if he speaks to his 33-year-old son in this capacity, his firstborn, I want to know how he talks to his other children offline. I want to know how he talks to people who work for him. I want to know how he treated the family because the family is no longer with him.
But my thing is this though, to the point of he's 33 and we don't know what his upbringing is like and how he was being talked to. Right. My thing is you're also a grown ass man at this point. And if you don't like the way your daddy's talking to you, you can buck back and say something. I'm so sorry.
He did.
But not enough for me. He was, because I just feel like if you're that, you know, firm in your stance of you want to air your daddy's dirty laundry and this is how he's talking to me, you better buck back accordingly and stop acting like, oh, you know, I'm this little boy.
Lauren,
you 33.
In his face, in his face, not over the phone, but right there in his face. Square up with him right then and there if that's what you want to do. Absolutely. I'm with you. Yeah.
Hurt people.
But
look,
hurt too.
Hurt people hurt people. I'm going to say it again. Hurt people
Yes,
hurt
they
people.
do. And I have to believe, because that's not Kurt's only child, so I have to believe, like some parents, he's probably ranked them. That's not the favorite child. Like, you don't love... I'm thinking he probably does not love them all equally. Is that fair?
No.
That's terrible to say, Nick.
That's terrible to say.
That's so terrible to say.
Okay.
It's very true, but it's terrible to say.
We don't make that, we don't say that out loud, that you're the favorite child. You're supposed to love all your kids equally. Because, even the daughter came out and said that she was defending her father. I don't know if you guys saw that video, but you don't say that out loud, Nick, that there's a favorite.
Do I have a favorite kid? I absolutely do. It's Timmy. Because he don't talk back.
The dog.
And he didn't ask for shit. Let me tell you how sarcastic my
it.
kids is. We got a stimulus check the other day. So I gave each one of my kids $500 a piece. They don't need shit. They don't need nothing. I just gave them $500. So I asked them, which one of y'all going to take me to lunch? My son said, I just gave you $900. Okay, I'm going to let that sit on y'all brain.
That's
this my
upbringing.
kid.
That's upbringing.
My kid. I just gave you $900.
That's your fault.
That's what I should have said. Nigga, who you talking?
That's your fault, though.
There you go. Yeah, you should have recorded that one. There you go. I love it. You had me rolling with that, though, Flame, with the stimulus checks. You were talking about how they all dropped on Friday. And sure enough, this kind of leads into our next topic. It seems like people were going crazy this weekend with a little bit of shopping all over the place.
Little bit of shopping.
It looks like spring breakers went crazy in Florida, and police had to respond to the number and sizes of crowds. Now, mind you, there are those who are arguing that these checks dropped right around the same time, that the vaccine has opened up to more people, and that we have not reached herd immunity. So, there are some who are concerned that we may see another spike in the virus.
Well, let's just say this. Florida's been open, okay? And Florida never closed. DeSantis basically said Corona wasn't real. He was fudging, COVID cases and numbers and everything else. Florida never closed. And so for the simple fact that the beaches are open, spring breakers are going to flock there. That's just natural. And as one that used to do it frequently in college, I always went to Miami for spring break. And it's just going to happen. You know what I mean? The cases, they may go up, but you're not going to really know because Florida hasn't been honest with any of their numbers since the pandemic, happened. It is what it is. Is anybody surprised? I'm not.
I think that people are probably just frustrated. That's all.
Well, that's it right there. That's why I told them I wasn't sending my kid back to school. Because have you seen the big fight in the high school basketball this weekend in Virginia? Yeah. Where the white and the black team were playing against each other, where it was a predominantly white school and predominantly black school. The predominantly black school came to the predominantly white school to play a basketball game. During the entire game, the audience as well as the team members calling racial slurs, all kind of N-words and everything else. The referees never intervened. They never said anything. A huge, massive fight broke out after the fight. People have been locked down for a year. We are like caged animals. You're going to just let us go and give us the money and say, go. We're going to go. They're going to spread. No, I'm serious. That somebody could have died for that. And with you watching the news and watching social media and listening to all this racial hate in this country, and then you put these kids against each other, and they got the parents in the stands and the other students calling these kids niggas and you ain't this and you black and you're worthless and woo woo woo. Of course they're going to lash out. Baby, I'm telling you right now, we are on a powder keg of I ain't sending my kids to school because y'all finna unleash all these crazy ass kids. And if you knew little Johnny was crazy before the coronavirus hit and the teacher been sending notes home, little Johnny's still crazy. He even more crazy now because he been home with your crazy ass for a whole year. I ain't sending my kids to school with little Johnny. I don't fuck with little Johnny. Little Johnny might be like that senator in D.C. What's her name? Marjorie. Yeah, that bitch.
Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Greene.
Yeah.
I said it. That bitch. Okay, where we going? Cause
right.
I'm on it. I'm ready. What's our next subject?
Oh, we talked about a little bit of everything. We said before we open up to the Flamettes, we would talk about one of the things that have been top of line, because you also talked about how much you enjoyed watching the Grammys. You want to give a shout out to your sister by another.
No, I ain't watched no Grammys. I ain't told you that because I was at a photo shoot. I do know that our boss won. our boss,
right,
Tiffany Haddish, my baby, did win a Grammy for Best Comedy Album. The first time since 2002 that a black woman, the last black woman to win for a comedy album was Whoopi Goldberg. So Tiffany just won for Best Comedy Album. Congratulations, Tiffany Haddish. We love you here at Laugh and Learn, baby.
Yes.
You are the executive producer. And Andre Day was nominated. Who won? Oh no, that's for best. That's for Grant. That's for Oscar.
Oscars. I was gonna say Andre did get nominated for an Oscar, but on the Grammys front though, we had a lot of first times, and so like Lettucey finally won her first Grammy. So shout out to Lettucey. I do want to say though that I have mad respect for Beyonce because she just made history. So shout out to Beyonce. She has officially won 28 Grammys, the first female artist to ever do so. But also too, I want to give a shout out to Miss Cardi B.
Wait a minute. Before you get off Beyonce, you got to go to her baby.
Oh, and yes,
Miss Blue Ivy.
Let me tell y'all a story about Blue Ivy real quick, okay? Since we're going to bring up Blue Ivy. I remember, 3 years ago, I went to Miss Tina Knowles Lawson's Wearable Art Gala. And I realized how rich Blue Ivy was when we were at the auction portion of the event. And she was casually trying to outbid Tyler Perry on a painting. I said, wow. Must be nice.
7 years old.
7 years old. Just nope. I got money. I'm gonna get this painting. It took her father to say, "Put the paddle down. We're not doing that anymore." But I'm just saying, cause congratulations to her. It must be nice, cause child, that baby, she's got receipts, and she's 8. So
I didn't watch it either. But Flame, you were talking about how much you wanted to mention that. That's why I was segueing into that. But I did hear Gayle King talk about how, I guess at some point Beyonce said to her that she was proud of her. And Gayle was saying, as a mother and as a parent, there's nothing you can do more than to tell your children that you're proud of them. That just resonates.
Go back to that first conversation we was having. Tell your son or your daughter that you're proud of them instead of calling them bitch ass niggas. I said what I said.
And don't tell them that who's the favorite and who's not.
Yo broke ass. How you gonna call your son broke and you a gospel superstar? If he your kid, he shouldn't be broke. He should be spending your money. Shit.
But also too on the Grammys front, I do, like I said, I want to shout out Cardi B as well, because I think as a whole, a lot of people felt that many artists or popular artists were snubbed for the Grammys this year, and a lot of people were outraged. But Cardi B actually came out yesterday and said, I know a lot of you guys feel upset and that you were snubbed. However, this was the first year that the Recording Academy nominated so many independent black artists in the history of the nomination process. So she said we still need to honor these folks that are getting their dues at this point in time. You know, they put in the work and they're finally getting their recognition. Even if it's not the most popular artist, this is their time to shine. So I appreciate Cardi B saying that. She was absolutely right. My uncle won a Grammy yesterday. Another one.
Hey!
It's like his, I think it's like his 6th now.
Hey,
so,
congratulations, uncle.
So I'm very happy about everybody and their accomplishments as a whole.
I got a question. When is Alexa and Siri gonna get a Grammy? Ain't them Beyonce other kids, Alexa and Siri?
Rummy and Sir.
Rummy and Sir. See, show you what I know, honey. Rummy. Oh, I thought that was the thing that you talked to, Rummy and Siri.
That is the Alexa and Siri. That is who you talk to.
No, I thought that was Beyonce kid's name. Oh, okay. I'm look, show you what I know. Ooh.
Nope.
I know what I want to talk about. So this week there was a big brouhaha over at the Talk because Sharon Osbourne and Sheryl Underwood had a little riff. Well, not even a riff. Sharon Osbourne made some very disparaging comments, and I said disparaging because I watched it to see what was said. You know what bothers me about people who don't think that they're racist when they say they don't see it is they act like they don't see it. I know in Britain it may be a little different because she is British, but yeah, Piers Morgan was out of pocket. Sheryl Underwood did not corner her, but I didn't like the fact that Sharon Osbourne went around it. I do like the fact that she did stop Miss Cheryl when Cheryl was, don't start that crying, because Miss Cheryl always breaks down crying. I know that from experience on Comic View 2005. If you don't believe me, watch it. She'll just start crying to change the narrative. But I'm not faulting Cheryl, because Cheryl stood her ground, so Cheryl did right. But now they have put the Talk on hiatus, so we don't know what's going on over there. What do you think they're going to do? We living in a strange time of cancel culture. What you think they gonna do?
honestly, I mean, I don't want to say anybody should be fired because I just think that that's bad karma to put on yourself because that's somebody's livelihood.
Yeah, I don't
so I'm
think
not
she should
going
be
to say
fired.
that. But I think that I'll say this. I think Sharon's comments were very problematic. And we said this last week that I find it very offensive when white people don't acknowledge the fact that they're racist and then expect us black folks to educate them on why they're being racist. I think that is the most disrespectful thing that you can do. You can go educate yourself. And Sharon Osbourne was completely wrong. She was 100% absolutely wrong. She came out and said, people forget that Piers Morgan is being paid, to share his opinion. And Piers Morgan, I stand with you. Until you understand the context of something or understand fully what's happening, don't put yourself out on Front Street and then try to play victim when shit backfires on you. Absolutely not. So Sharon Osbourne needs to be held accountable for her statement and what she did. Whatever those, repercussions are, let them be what they may. I'm not going to put anything negative on anybody, but she should have known better, especially in this climate. She really should have known better.
I understand that Sharon, and this is not related, but I think it speaks to maybe character a bit. I understand that Sharon was behind the firing of Holly Pete Robinson,
Yep.
that by all
she was
accounts
too
is
ghetto.
really a sweet woman, Sharon had a problem with Holly Robinson Pete, and I understand instead of speaking to Holly Robinson Pete directly about what she had a problem with, she did the thing that so many do. They went to network and they complained. Mm-hmm. But, Flame and I were talking about just this whole cancel culture overall. Mm-hmm. And I feel as though Sharon, unfortunately, in 2021, I do believe the onus is on the individual to educate themselves or at least be open to hearing the feedback from those who feel either marginalized or feel as though there are issues around race that need a bit more nuance or at least compassion. We're seeing that now with Chris Harrison for The Bachelorette. We're seeing that in so many different instances of people who are being let go. I'm from Chicago, as you all know, and there's a popular sports anchor, Mark Giangreco, just got fired.
Good. He should have got fired. He should have been fired for what he said about Cheryl Burton. He should have been terminated. I remember. I just saw that. He should have been terminated. But I don't want to get off topic, so come back to, because you'll take us over the river. Come on back, player. Come on back.
But what I don't like to do is just throw it out there without giving some kind of context.
Yeah.
I do believe that all of these situations require people with a microphone, with a platform, to understand and at least show compassion to those who are saying, hey, we feel a little bit this way, and then to just flat out dismiss them and say, well, you don't have a right to feel that way, because that's not what it was. You're like, whoa.
Here's my take on Sharon Osbourne, and I like Sharon Osbourne. You can't have no comment too much on opinion or getting people fired. You were married to a man, and still is married to a man, who bites the head off live bats, and then you kiss him in the mouth. He go down to give you head, but he got bat blood in his mouth. Girl, if you don't sit your ass down and go back to UK with that bullshit.
Well, Flame, I think that's organic, though.
That's terrible.
That's nasty.
That's nasty.
That's
nasty. And then you want to attack Sheryl Underwood. And y'all know me and Sheryl Underwood have water under the bridge, but it is now water under the bridge. I thought that Sheryl stood her ground and said what she had to say. And Sheryl was so diplomatic with it. Sheryl, her temperament remained calm. Sheryl stayed in her lane. She never overspoke. She never disrespected Sharon. And Sharon was combative. Sharon was combative because she knew she was cornered.
Yeah, she was hostile.
When you corner an animal and they back to the wall, they got two options: swing or die. Baby, she started swinging. Cheryl didn't even take the bait.
I don't even think cornered so much as I'm asking you to understand where I'm coming from. No, you tell me where he was right. You tell me right now where. And I was like, whoa, what just happened?
The talk. If you need a replacement for Sharon Osbourne, would you like? I got red hair already. What you need? What you need? I'm just saying, I can fill in for. I can sit right in the middle seat, baby. I fit in the middle.
No, yeah, I know that the talk is under review, so I'm curious to see what happens. But like I said, Sharon was 100% wrong. Mm-hmm. And to your point, Nick, she got Holly Robinson Pete fired specifically because she was, and I quote, too ghetto. That is exactly what Holly Robinson Pete said. That was the reason why she was fired. Per Sharon Osbourne.
My only issue with the Sharon Osbourne situation, and I mentioned Mark Giangreco, and I also mentioned Chris Harrison from The Bachelor. I do believe that we should counsel people before we cancel them. Like, I'm really uncomfortable with the way people are just not, you're like, all of a sudden, bam. Like, I think that when you have imagine what can be learned, since the talk is a platform that clearly has a demographic where they try to reach people in middle America primarily, right? Just imagine how many people can say, wow, I never thought about that, because I do believe it's possible there are some who never thought about, asking if the baby's going to be too dark is a little bit racist, y'all. Really? I never thought about that, Nick. Well, let me tell you why, and just maybe have that conversation. Because for me, and this is me, I have definitely lived and I have family members who are of different skin tone, and some of them have been valued throughout life in a higher regard than I have, because they're light, and light is often seen as prettier. Light is often seen as more attractive. So it wasn't left field for me to have them say there were family members in that family concerned about the baby's skin color. That's my experience. I'm not putting that on any of you all, but I'm just telling you, I've lived in situations where light skin was revered. So it is not ridiculous for me to believe that there were those concerned about the color of that baby's skin, and that he had not even thought about the fact that, wow, people think about that? Yeah, people think about that.
Nope.
Yeah, that was with Harry. I'm back to. I'm Team Cheryl. Cheryl was right on this one. I've seen Cheryl wrong on some other shit, but she was right on this one, and she was right to stand her ground. And CBS, I hope y'all pay attention to that and don't be going all left and right and sideways. I don't want Sharon to lose her job. I don't think Sharon should lose her job. I don't watch the talk. But if I do turn it on, I'm used to seeing her sitting there in the middle. I don't agree with you on what you said that people should be cultured, because now they want, or people should be canceled because now they want to cancel Andrew Cuomo. If we lose Andrew Cuomo from the Democratic Party, the Republicans gonna have one up on us. We didn't cancel the president after all the shit that he pulled for 4 years.
Before we go to that, I want to backtrack on what Nick said.
Come on.
Because this is where I'm coming from,
yeah,
Nick.
So
and
go
this
back. You feel like they should not cancel or what?
No, we're not even going to get to Cuomo yet. Let's address what you just said first. I have a question to ask you. When does the responsibility fall on the racist? Is my question. How long do we have to continue to counsel people and educate people and give them an opportunity to learn and give them an opportunity to see a different perspective? How long do we have to keep doing that before the responsibility officially falls on the other party that's committing the act? Because
I think that's great. But Lauren, I think that we have to agree on what's racist, though, right? And I think that's where the nuance is. I think that if you counsel someone like a Sharon, because I don't think she's standing there burning a cross in her front yard. I just don't believe that. And I believe there's space to teach and educate some people. I'm not ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I feel like some people really can be an advocate and an ally.
She's not, though, Nicholas. She clearly said what she said and stood to that. She stood right there with that.
That's what I'm saying. Because my thing is, she listened to Piers Morgan talk mad trash about Meghan Markle, and we all know part of it is Meghan Markle rejected Piers Morgan, and that's part of the reason why
she didn't want you, player. She didn't want you.
So that's really the crux or the root of the issue. But he went on national television time and time again, made racist comments, made sexist comments towards her, and just kept berating and bashing her. And she never said anything. She never addressed him and never acknowledged him. And on the heels of an interview that you do with Oprah, where you're talking about the racism that you experience within the institution, Pierce is choosing to make comments and still make subliminal racist, make it seem like it's not an issue. And then you have Sharon Osbourne. She has eyes and ears like the rest of us and has the same listening skills that everybody does. And probably even better because she's on a talk show. She hosts interviews. She has to be able to dissect certain information in an appropriate way. For us to sit up here and say, oh, Sharon didn't know she was being racist, I'm so sorry. No, absolutely not. And I don't have time to counsel Sharon Osbourne about why what she did was wrong. No.
And again, I'm not here to defend Sharon either, but I feel like a woman who works with a diverse cast has hope. And I just feel like Sharon is not lost. When I look at her, and we'll talk about him later, but when we talk about the congressman out of Wisconsin, to me, those are very different things. And I feel like Sharon is someone who still can be an ally. That's all I'm saying. I just feel like that she shouldn't be fired and that there's room to be counseled.
I don't think she should be fired, but I'm with Lauren on that. How long do we have to take it? It's been 400 plus years that we've been excusing. It's an excuse. Oh, it's just the way things are. It's just the way the things go. It's just Breonna Taylor been dead a year yesterday. It's just the way the things go. Because ain't nobody been charged for her. Nobody has been brought to put their feet to the fire for what they did to Breonna Taylor, kicking her door in and killing that woman in her own goddamn bed. So how long do we have to say, oh, it's a pass? You don't get no fucking pass. We don't get none. Fuck Sharon Osbourne. I said what I said. Tell her to call me.
And I'm just saying, if you want to, in any realm or space, if you want to be an advocate about something, what's the first thing that you do if you want to be an advocate? You do your own research, right? You don't technically necessarily lean on people to become an advocate. You do your research. You initiate certain conversations with people. You engage with certain people. You get your own literature to read for better understanding. You don't put the onus and responsibility on somebody else to help you become an advocate. That's not how advocacy works.
And then how you gonna be Patty Pierce Morgan and be mad because you couldn't get none of that black girl magic? Apparently, Meghan Markle must got the wop because she made a prince become a commoner. Baby, it's something between her legs, baby, that y'all don't know nothing about. See, Pierce Morgan was trying to get him a little taste of that because he would have been, woo, because look at Harry. Harry got so much swag. Meghan Markle, girl, I'm taking a class from you. Where I sign up at? You take EBT?
But also, too, speaking on cancel culture, I feel like we can kind of segue. You brought up Andrew Cuomo, Flame. So a lot has evolved since last week when we talked about it. So what are your new thoughts around Andrew Cuomo?
Don't we not canceling Andrew Cuomo, not on Laugh and Learn. I don't care what y'all doing in New York. Understand that there is a method to that madness. And when I say that, if y'all replace Andrew Cuomo as the governor of New York, they're going to put somebody in there that's going to try to stop Letitia James or block Letitia James from prosecuting Donald Trump. See, there is a whole 360 to this. Letitia James is the prosecutor that's out to get Donald Trump from the state of New York. But replacing Cuomo, they will put somebody else there who might block her from doing that. So all the shit that Trump has done, he'll get away with. Understand that there's a method to the madness. Cuomo been the governor for all this time. Ain't nobody came out and said nothing. But because he took his stance against the coronavirus, how he stood up for New York, how he said people had to wear masks and lock down the city and woo and stop people from traveling, they're still out to get Cuomo. This is backlash from him being a man and standing his ground for being governor last March 15th, last year. All this is just payback, baby. I'm still Team Cuomo. If you felt uncomfortable in the space, and I understand women, you know, if I'm in your personal space, if I'm touching you inappropriately, address that situation right then and there. I'm not comfortable with you being this far up on me. I'm not comfortable with you touching me, because we can do that now. You might not have been able to do that 10 years ago, but women can do that now, and they won't lose their job. They don't have to complain. Say, I'm not comfortable with you being in my space. This is my personal space, and I'm not comfortable. You can say that in a way to where your employer or your boss supposed to understand. I ain't saying they're gonna always understand, but they're supposed to understand. But now all this shit is coming out. All this is a smokescreen. You know, kind of like they opened up this country Friday and gave out stimulus checks and told people y'all can go take your mask off, go shop. I drove past the mall here Friday. It looked like it was Christmas. Understand that we still living in a pandemic. The coronavirus is running rampant. Fuck Florida. It's gonna be right here in Long Beach because they was at the mall shopping crazy. I drove past. I went to Big Lots. It wasn't nobody in Big Lots but me.
I mean, I understand all of these new accusers are coming forward and everything, and never denying anybody's experience of what, you know, they may have encountered. All I'm saying is I want this investigation to play out. I want Letitia James to do her job. I don't think that Andrew Cuomo should resign until the investigation is complete. I will absolutely say that. I know everybody from AOC to I think Chuck Schumer, all of the top, you know, Democrats are kind of coming out to say he needs to resign. I think let Letitia James do her job. Let's see what happens, and then we can move forward from there. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I think I just to kind of chime in on there, I think what I never want to do as a 6'3" bald black man, I've never been in a situation where I have had my personal space threatened by an employer where I had to feel uncomfortable. So I never want to sit here and act like I understand what women in the workplace go through, because I do believe that women in the workplace deserve to have a safe space to work and engage. Period. And if for any reason that is threatened or compromised, those who threaten or compromise that position need to be held accountable, regardless of political power, regardless of wealth, regardless of esteem, or regardless of title. Having said that, I also believe two different things are happening here. I think that Governor Cuomo, unfortunately, has lost the support he needs within his own caucus and from other Democrats. So as a leader, one has to wonder now if for the last 18 months of this term, if he'll simply be a lame duck, not really able to push and move forward any legislation. And whether or not the investigation plays out one way or the other, that would be more or less for any type of legal action down the road. That's not my concern as much as what it is he's doing right now, whether or not he has the support from others within his legislature in order for him to continue to enact policy to, help advocate for the state of New York.
I'm with Cuomo. Cuomo said that the politicians didn't elect me. The people did. This is the same shit they doing to Joe Biden. Joe Biden been in office, 53 days?
Something like that.
60 days? If he tie his shoes a different way, y'all ready to have a hissy fit? I'm telling you, we got to pick and choose what is important. Y'all not picking and choosing what's important. Y'all fighting over bullshit. I don't even know who these women are, and I don't care. And I want to see what they look like, because Andrew Cuomo is not an unattractive man. See, it's all these ugly bitches. Let me start right here. Let me go back.
God.
A lot of these ugly bitches keep coming out talking some men attracted them, men touch them. You should feel privileged. Some of your ugly bitches should feel privileged that a man is touching on you, because ain't nobody else not in the light. Shit.
Oh, Lord.
There go that
Lord.
gummy kicking in. Okay, this laugh alert. This ain't love laugh.
Let's
okay,
bring
look.
some people in here.
Yeah. Okay, Nick, we're gonna bring in some folks. We'll bring you back.
Look at this. Y'all have me heated.
I saw you in the comments. I was like, we gonna go to March first.
You got a shirt on. You really must be mad. Come on with it. Come on.
Okay, let's start. I need a whole 20 minutes. This is
you
my
ain't getting that long,
Listen.
player. You
Okay, first of all,
listen. I can do it in 5. Shit.
listen. Okay, Kirk Franklin. Here's the problem with Kirk Franklin, and here's the hypocrisy. And from somebody who was, again, as I've talked about before, I was in leadership at a mega church. I've crossed paths with Kirk Franklin. I've crossed paths with the Toby Macs, the Joel Osteens. Now, not that way. I know what you're about to do with that.
You better
Stop.
Listen,
Don't even do it.
No. However, Kirk Franklin, let's be honest, and I'm not saying anything more than this. You don't like yourself, which is why you're so mad at life. That's the first part. Second of all, when a normal person in the church can't even listen to secular music without having some sort of repercussion in the form of, you're not allowed to volunteer in this certain ministry, we're going to put you on a sabbatical for this amount of time for listening to secular music, or if you say a cuss word and someone overhears you, he goes to the pastor about it. The hypocrisy is the same thing with what happened in New York with the Hillsong New York City pastor Carl Linton and Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber, he was making music about how yummy a woman's genitalia was, but was leading worship at Carl Lintz's church. So it's the same thing. If you have a platform and if you're somebody big, it doesn't apply to you, it applies to the normal person. So that's why he's getting so much backlash, in my opinion, because it's not okay to do that behind closed doors, but then you would persecute somebody else who did that same thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
That's why a lot of people are upset. And Kirk Franklin has a history of being an ass. He doesn't treat his wife well. I'm not going to go further, but the point is he deserves this, and I see why his son did this. Well,
apparently the son had been used to being talked to like that, because who thinks to record the conversation? I'm telling you, this boy was accustomed to that. Nobody probably believed him, and he needed to prove it. So now he has proof.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I just don't think he should have aired it for the world to hear. I mean, if you want proof and you want to maybe take legal action or whatever the intent was, Lauren, I don't think you should air I don't care what happens. You don't air your family business out like that, even if you're upset.
Shit.
You just don't do that. I don't agree with that.
And that was the line that we grew up on. Don't talk at my house. Don't tell what going on in our house. But with reality TV and the world that we live in now, everybody knows everything.
But I'm not. Let me be clear though. Let me clarify. I'm not saying be quiet about all family issues, because if there's some other things going on, abuse, sexual abuse, I'm not for keeping that private. If you need to bring that to the forefront to get the situation worked out, that's one thing. This is specific. I'm being very specific in this case, saying that I don't agree with his son airing out whatever their conversation is for the public. I don't think he should have done that, no matter how wrong Kirk Franklin may be.
I see that perspective, but I appreciate what he did, because Kirk Franklin does have this ego, and I'm really disappointed in Natasha Cobbs coming out and supporting him and all of these people, because it's the reason his son came out with this is to let people know what really goes on, not only in their house and with their relationship, but in my opinion, the same thing with Joel Osteen. I'm waiting for stuff about Joel Osteen to come out, and when it comes out, I'm not going to feel bad.
Well, wait a minute. Give me
my thing is this.
Give us a prequel. I need a little taste. I'm like Della Reese in the movie. Don't get my mouth all right and leave me a little swallow in the container. Don't leave me a swallow in the container.
Listen. I'm not about to have people after me. I already know who's watching. Past that, I have one more thing to say about Sheryl Underwood.
Go ahead, Mark. What you gotta say?
Wait, I'll get to Cuomo in a second. I'll give this a 30-second Cuomo response. But I don't feel bad for Sheryl Underwood because I think, like you said, she did great. But here's where Sharon Osbourne fucked up when she put on those tears, because it automatically goes into the narrative of the angry black woman making a white woman cry, and America's going to give sympathy to that white woman. And my problem is that Sheryl was gracious in saying, I know you. I don't get this. I don't get these feelings from you, but understand the implication behind the approval, so to say, of Piers Morgan. And so when she put on those tears and made it about her, when have white people been oppressed or been done wrong in this country ever? So how you have the audacity and the reason to cry is just beyond me.
White people was oppressed and done wrong on January the 6th in the state of Georgia, baby. Because Blue Lives Matter, because we took it back, baby.
No.
But seriously, how do you cry and turn that around to you now? You're the victim.
Understand that as much as I think that Sharon was wrong, Sharon was right when she told Sheryl, don't start that crying, because Sheryl always does that. You got to go back and watch. Whenever Sheryl is back into the wall, Sheryl breaks out crying. She did that shit to me on Comic View 2005. So Sharon just beat her to the punch and started crying first. Because if Sheryl would have started crying first, then black Americans would have took Cheryl's side. So it was just a matter of who was going to break down first. Cry on demand, please. Can you cry right now?
Didn't you say
cry.
Didn't you say that was water under the bridge?
Oh yeah, me and Sheryl still no. I'm not.
Okay,
saying
Lauren, thank you. Lauren, thank you.
I'm not attacking Sheryl, but what I'm saying to Mark's point is, this is what Sheryl does. Watch the talk. Yeah. Sheryl will break out crying for no reason. She will. Every time it's something she breaks out crying.
Should Sharon lose her job, or do you believe there's room for redemption?
I don't think anyone should lose their job over. Again, I'm so against the whole cancel
Trump lost his.
However, here's what I.
No, he got voted out.
Exactly. Here's my thing with Sharon. I don't think she should lose her job, but here's what I also see. She works on a cast full of diverse people, and we don't know what goes on off camera. And so, who knows, this could be a feeling that people do have about her, even though Sheryl went on record saying, I don't have these feelings that you're racist. But I do think there is a time and a place for a company production to take a step back and say, can we move forward doing what we want to do and our vision for the show with this person, given this response and given what's going on right now? And so if that means she loses her job, then you know what? When you are on a talk show and you don't think twice about what you're saying, and again, you're not the victim here. Someone's giving their story. Megan said she felt that the palace or whoever the fuck those people are, they're racist. Why are you discrediting that? That wasn't your experience. Just shut up and apologize.
Because Megan didn't give him none of that black girl magic. Shit.
But let me ask you this though, Mark, because although Sheryl came out and said that, I'm also thinking too, was there truth behind what she was saying about Sharon, or was she just more so concerned about giving her an out and maybe helping her save her job? And I'm only saying that because of what Holly Robinson Peete said. So how truthful was that statement is my next question.
Yeah, I think Sheryl, again, and here's why I went back to bringing up the tears part. I think Sheryl was in a tricky position, and why she did so good and she couldn't really go even deeper as a lot of us wanted her to is because the narrative would have played out even worse than it already is. And so I do think Sheryl, in the back of her mind, was like, let me give a little bit of grace and save face for TV. And that's why she did that. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sharon, wasn't her daughter the one who was talking about Trump a few years ago and was talking about Mexicans are the one who cleans your house, just made a fucking stupid
cleans
statement.
Your toilet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The little fat one. With the funny shape. And they become she was a fashion guru. I said what the fuck I said. She is fat. She is funny looking. And she do got different color hair. Did I lie?
You mean
I'm
healthy?
fat to lie.
You mean healthy? You mean
that's the thing.
You
That's
can't
where
defend that.
the
You be
difference
talking about
between
your
being a
mama.
racist.
Stop it. Stop it. You can't conveniently defend people. Stop it.
Touche,
But
Lauren
this is what I think. This is where the line is between like what Kelly Osbourne, I think that's her name, what
Yeah,
she said back then. I consider that racially insensitive. I don't think that was a racist comment, but it was racially insensitive. But I wouldn't be surprised if behind closed doors, like that's how they talk about different people of different cultures.
Well, then understand, Mark, that it's not racially insensitive. They're racist. If they're doing it at home behind closed doors and then you take it out publicly, eventually, if you do it at home long enough, it is going to go into your real life. This is what happened with the whole back to the Kirk Franklin thing. If it happens at home enough, eventually the world is going to find out about it. Kelly, the Osbournes, whatever they're practicing at home, the shit is just resonating. Sharon Osbourne was foul. She was wrong. She tried to segue. She did corner Cheryl. I did love that part when she told Cheryl, don't start that crying because I got to be the first one to cry, bitch, so they can fall in love with me first. I get that. I understand you. This is a game of chess, and I don't want to lose my job. That's what that was all about. Because Cheryl, they would have fired Cheryl. Cheryl is a black woman on that show, and she wasn't the last hire. And even though I think that Cheryl is irreplaceable on the talk, because I love her on there whenever I do decide to watch it, that don't mean that they won't get rid of her ass, because the climate that we live in and the racism that is so prevalent in this country right now under Trump's regime, even though that nigga still gone, but he still got a power, they would have fired Cheryl. Cheryl was smart in the way she handled that. She was very tactful. Right. Sharon Osbourne was just racist, and she didn't want to admit that. Piers Morgan, not only did he make racist, disparaging comments, but he showed that he was a broken man, because if you don't even like black women, you couldn't get this black woman to go with you, and you Piers Morgan, you rich, you white, you powerful, you got a show, but she didn't want your ass, except that she didn't want your ass, nigga, and keep it pushing, because that's all that is. She didn't want you. She wanted a prince.
And Cheryl said it just exactly right. She said it's not necessarily that you're saying something racist, it's what you're implying. And the same thing with, what I started on Piers Morgan's ass last week was, he said, people might have this conversation about what color their baby might look like. People don't say that. Like, that's just you. That's you literally giving a dog whistle to somebody, like making them feel like it's okay that this is happening. Like, no one says that. Like, I could never imagine a family having that conversation.
Well, wait a minute, Mark, because if me and you had a baby together and the baby came out navy purple, blue, black, I'm going to think that you was cheating on me because I'm light brown and you light skin. Our baby should be at least somewhere in that hue.
But look, that's after the fact. That's after the fact, not before. And then again, like with the whole title situation, which I don't know how the monarchy, whatever you call them, work, but period. And I'm just going to wrap up with these 30 seconds about Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo has a long history of this behavior, and I know someone personally who's been impacted by it, and I it's not my place to say anything. But I think the problem
you keep giving out too many tangibles and then not giving out the information. I'm gonna come to your house and fight you. Shit.
When you come over, you get everything. You get the tea. But my thing with Cuomo is he fucked up.
I'm gonna get the whole X, Y, and Z nigga. You don't know who you're talking to. I'm gonna get it all, baby. I likes it all.
I said 30 seconds to put it. Listen, Cuomo messed up when he ousted the previous attorney general, because when an allegation came out, by the way, he said that he needed to resign and step down. And so that is karma biting him in the ass, because now you have 7 people, one person with a very credible story, and a lot of people are pointing to. There's supposedly footage, and people who were there and aware of what was going on were taking videos and pictures. Cuomo now, his foot is in his mouth, because this is what you said before, and this is not what you're saying about yourself. And so with Cuomo, again, I don't like politicians, and the fact that he made the comment, I'm not part of the political game, or I'm not in the political circle. You've been in politics your entire life. You were handed the position given your father's record. Let me just say that. So don't act like you're not a dirty swamp creature, because you are.
Wait, whoa.
Mark, you gotta stop attacking Andrew Cuomo, because Chris Cuomo gonna come to your house and beat your ass.
And I mean, let's not delegitimize anybody. Cuomo still got elected. Come on, Mark. We can't delegitimize that.
Yeah,
The people did still elect
rough.
him. They still elected him, and I mean, but it is a legacy thing. I will give you that. No, okay, his father was a beloved governor before him, but the people still elected Cuomo too. We got to give him that.
I just think that, again, it's karma biting him in the ass. And my problem is it really, when you listen to him talk about it, and when the press tries to ask him questions, it's his ego that's at the front line. That's all I see.
Mark, we just dealt with 4 years of a nightmare. Don't say that.
But I attacked him too. I'm an equal opportunity attacker. I don't have sides. Listen, I don't have sides. You know this about me. I can call out the clown, but again, I also will call out Cuomo. And this is the thing: the fear cannot be of who might take his position. It's the fact that we need to, and I'm always said this, I said the same thing with Kavanaugh. Yes, the process needs to play out, but the tricky part for Cuomo right now is what he said on record before. So that's all I'm going to say.
Mark, if we're going to hold people accountable, but wait a minute, if we're going to hold people accountable for shit they said in the past, oh my God, I won't even be sitting here right now. In fact, I'm leaving in 2 minutes anyway. But I wouldn't be sitting here. I said some outrageous shit that shit I regret, some shit I don't. But I'm not a politician, but I am in the public eye. And I'm not knocking Cuomo for what he said, because at the time, that's how he felt. I'm not saying that what is true or not true, because I'm not one of those women that accused him and I wasn't there. But I'm giving Cuomo the benefit of the doubt, because what I'm trying to get people to understand and to see is that if we do this to Cuomo, we're going to do this to Joe Biden. Joe Biden been the president for 60 days. What are we going to do, just cancel everybody that make a fucking mistake?
Well, no, because look, with Joe Biden, what had happened who was that lady who came out?
Tara Reid.
Yes, I said, listen, I don't like this. He's been in politics for how long, and all of a sudden you're coming out, and I got in trouble for that because I'm not a female and I don't know what it's like to come out with my story. So I get that aspect of it, but I said the same thing with Kavanaugh. I said I'm going to say the same thing with Cuomo. Yes, due process is important, because you don't want to set a culture where someone could come out and say something and you're automatically guilty. That's not what our system was set up for. However, when you say 2 years ago that this person needs to resign, and he was so in the front line about all these other people, and now shit's happening in your backyard and you have a different opinion, that's the problem that I have.
You know what that's going to do though, Mark? That's going to open up the floodgates for everybody to start just accuse. You want to get rid of somebody? Just have a woman accuse them of being inappropriate. Where do we stop it? Where do we draw the line? Because some people may be telling the truth and some people may just make up a lie to get rid of you. We have to find out, like they say, you're innocent until proven guilty, but that's not the case here. Everybody is guilty now until proven innocent.
Well, that's why we say let Letitia James do her job, and let's see what happens. Let's just let this play out. Let it play out, and let's see what receipts come forward and what the investigation says.
And I'm very comfortable with the fact that Letitia James and the special investigator or prosecutor, whoever they put over it, that person has a pass of taking down Cuomo allies. So I do think we will get a fair investigation into what happened.
Well, we thank you, Johannes. I will see you in 2 weeks, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Mark.
I want you with a T-shirt and no panties on. Yes!
Oh, Lord. Mark, do me a favor and hit the X, because I don't know how to get people out of here. Thank you.
Bye, Marky
Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. That's Marky Mark. Yeah, he's in Florida.
I think the title of this show will be Swamp Creature.
I love you, Nick. I love you, Lori Hoagie. I love y'all, Flamettes. I got a show to do. I got to go.
Yeah.
Bye, Trevor. Bye, Kendall. I'll see y'all next week. Maybe we'll do Love Lounge tonight, because y'all got those stimulus checks. Y'all been acting funny. But I got a show to do with the white folks, with Mr. White Man. Mr. White Man said come here, and Mr. White Man paying a little bit more than y'all paying today. So I'm out. Love you, Lori. Bye, Trevor.
Hey, Pam, how are you?
How you doing? I'm good. How are you, Lauren? Hey, Nick.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Saw you jumping that rope being all fancy.
I'm trying, brother trying to stay on top of it. Let me tell you something. That heart health ain't no joke, right?
It ain't no joke. Don't play with it.
Don't play with it. We're losing too many people. Talk to us about it. We brought up a couple of conversations and topics today. Want to know your thoughts. Sound off for us.
Well, the Cuomo thing, let's look at it like this. Hey, everybody. We're talking about I think a political hit is going on. Sure. Cuomo is part of they're all part of political machines. I think that's what we don't remember, that there are debts that have to be paid. People have to realize that people did things before that they didn't like, and people hold grudges, and, things are timed a certain way. So I think this is first of all, I think this is a political hit. Second of all, let's just wait for the investigation to come out. Because I heard this interesting thing, about politicians. It's like innocent and a politician are they don't go together.
Mutually.
True. Very true.
That. Diametrically opposed to one another. Absolutely. Gotcha. Yeah.
So, that's just how it is. But it's very interesting about the timing of all of these allegations. And, he was the hero last year, and now he's the dirt under people's feet. And, but one thing about Cuomo, he don't run from a fight. He don't play no games. It's like, come on, come get me. Let's see how this plays out.
Pam, I think what's also interesting is how we've seen so many people pile on. I watched this diatribe from Bill de Blasio because if you remember, Cuomo went after Bill de Blasio when Bill de Blasio wasn't doing so well in New York. Not that he's super popular now, but Bill de Blasio, his behavior absolutely disgusts me. And I was like, whoa.
But wait, let's just clarify that, though. I don't know of any mayor in the city of New York that is liked, okay? All mayors get booed in the city of New York. Let's be honest about that, okay?
Yeah, so, eventually.
Pam, I want to get you to sound off for me. I do want your opinion. Do you believe in a situation like a Sharon Osbourne? Is there redemption, or you're like, what are your thoughts on the Osbourne Underwood situation?
You know what, too, I want to emphasize to everyone. When we see these things, let's look at the entire interview. Let's look at the entire show. Not these chopped up sound bites and clips, because that's a part of the manipulation. Look at the whole entire thing, and then let's talk about it. Okay, but anyway, from what I saw, girl, honey, she whelped like a hit dog got hit by a truck immediately. Even with the preface of Sheryl saying, "Look, you're my friend. I know how you think." She still went off. Her friend, I know she's friends with Piers Morgan. She's been friends with Piers Morgan for 100 years before she even got on the talk. But she did not understand where her mates were coming from. And I think when she goes back and looks at it, and I think maybe that's why she apologized too, I am going to give her a benefit of the doubt on that. And she should look at her behavior, look at her response, analyze it herself. Look at herself. You know how you and Lauren and Nick and you guys look at yourself on tape, right? To see. I know, Nick, probably you do it when you had your other days when you were in another line. You looked at yourself to see what was going on with yourself, what you said, how you said it, what your response was, what can I do better? I think a lot of these people, they need to look at themselves and how they're coming off, because when you're in the moment, you don't realize, hey, and then you go back and look at it like, oh my goodness, I went off. I said this. My reaction was maybe I need to check myself. Maybe I need to think about what I said or how I did or how I responded.
And Pam, I think more than anything in those situations like that too, and then I'll go ahead and wrap it up. It's one of those things where I don't understand why people can at least try to hear what the person is saying and at least give deference.
That's called privilege.
I hadn't thought about that's it, Lauren. There you go. All right, there you go. Yep. Because I'm thinking that you simply telling me, I think one of the things that bothered me most with all of that is how quickly people were ready to dismiss. Let's forget about the baby color. The fact that here's this woman saying I was having a mental health issue. Oh, no, you weren't. Shut up. Get out of here. Get out of here with that. This is why we don't talk about it. This is why people are ashamed to say, Lauren, I'm not feeling that well today. I'm a little down. Hey, let me just check on you. You're going to attack me.
You're going to attack me for feeling my feelings instead of having a moment of empathy and thought. And then after the person tells you more, if you feel like you got to attack them or think less of their emotion, then you do it. But at least it's like everybody ready to jump on. It's like, you're going to tell me that I don't feel like I was being attacked. You're going to tell me my feelings. You're going to tell me my feelings.
Well, I think that's what we're all trying to express here, Pam, is the simple fact that Sharon probably never had to think about that. She never really had to think about her repercussions because when she had that privilege and she had that status on that network, she never had to think about it, nor did she feel like, oh, I'm going to get all this backlash around this. It took her coming after Meghan Markle that all of a sudden now she's trying to reevaluate everything. But that goes to what I said earlier in terms of it's not our job to have to educate people. You should have known better. That's what privilege gets you. It gets you in these situations where now you got to address how you're actually acting and how you've been and what you've been doing towards other people. So it was just her time. It was her time to get this ass whooping.
Exactly.
It just was.
And you know what? The ass always rises to the top.
Yep.
The cream will eventually rise to the top. You got to look at it. You can't act like the cream ain't there. Oh, I don't see the cream. I don't see the cream. I don't see the shit. I don't see the shit. Eventually, you got to see it and you got to smell it.
And acknowledge it and your ownness in it. But
exactly. But that's the problem. A big problem. It's like no one, if your first reaction is to yelp like a dog, then you got some examining to do.
Yep.
For yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what we need to do. We need more than talk about. We got to examine our shit, own our shit. Everybody does, especially white people.
Thank you, Miss Pam.
Everybody else got to own their stuff.
Period.
All right, everybody got to own their stuff.
Thank you, Miss Pam.
Pam, thank you.
We love you.
Bye-bye, y'all. Bye.
On that note, I mean, I think we can kind of wrap up. I know we had some other topics to discuss, but I don't think there's any problem with rolling over to next week because they're still going to be relevant next week anyway.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I just want everyone to know that if you liked what people have to say or if you have something that we missed, we do want you to comment on the show and make sure that you leave that comment, because that helps people to find the show. So we really enjoyed that because at the end of the day, like we talk about all the time with Flame, when she is here, we are not trying to get anybody to change their mind.
We are simply only trying to get you guys to use your mind. And more importantly, we appreciate you guys coming in to participate in this show because without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. It's really the feedback that we get from you guys, the suggestions, the DMs, all of that. We appreciate it. And I know sometimes we don't respond, but we try to look at it because we all got a lot going on. But we appreciate the input. Yeah, we definitely appreciate the input. So where can everybody find you, Nick?
Everybody can find me at Nick Smith News on both Instagram and Twitter anytime.
And I am Lauren Armani H on Instagram as well as Lauren Hogan on YouTube. And of course, if you guys want to find Flame is at Monroe Flame on Instagram, Marcus Flame Monroe Parker on Facebook, and Flame Monroe on Twitter because she got a lot of handles. But I think I got them all in there.